Hello and welcome to Views on News. I'm Jawad. Tehami. Pakistan's Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb and Power Minister Awais Laghari are in China and have met Chinese Minister of Finance Lan Fuan, and they have briefed him regarding Pakistan government's efforts to introduce tax and energy reforms in the system. Both the sides also exchanged the views to strengthen bilateral economic cooperation, including boosting financial and banking cooperation also. In another major development, we have seen Minister Board of Investment Abdul Aleem Khan gave a briefing to Chinese ambassador in Pakistan detailing the establishment of industries from China to Pakistan, and the Chinese ambassador assured Pakistani side of all possible support for investment in Pakistan. Earlier, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was presented with a comprehensive roadmap regarding transfer of Chinese industries in Pakistan during a follow-up meeting regarding his recently held visit to China from 4th to 8th of June. And that particular visit by the Pakistani authorities was termed as extremely successful and historic, in which primarily the upgradation of CPEC or the phase 2 of CPEC or CPEC 2.0 were on the top of the agenda. Also, economic cooperation between the two countries were also discussed in detail. Around 23 agreements and MOUs were also signed between the two sides. Let's talk about the Pak-China economic cooperation, the prospects of the CPEC phase 2. We've also heard about the Panda bonds. What is the significance of that Panda bond, and how can Pakistan benefit from that? Also, all these important aspects are for discussion in today's show. For that, we are honored to have been joined in the studio by Mr. Zamir Ahmad Awan. He's expert on China affairs. His research is focused on China, CPEC, and economic development. Mr. Awan, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Also in the studio, we are honored to have been joined by Professor Dr. Mohammad Naveed. He's former Dean at Barrier University. He's global financial expert as well. Dr. Naveed, thank you very much for your time also, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. On the phone line at the same time, we are honored to have been joined by Dr. Hassan Daud, his former project director and coordinator of CPEC projects. Dr. Butt, thank you very much for your time also, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Let's begin the discussion with you, Dr. Butt. Now, when we talk about the overall trajectory of the economic cooperation between Pakistan in terms of trade volume as well as the key areas, the sectors in which both the countries have cooperated over the years, which key areas do you identify, and how this particular relationship on the economic front has evolved over the years?
So I think Pakistan and China have actually, from the inception of the diplomatic relations, have actually grown step by step. But I think in the most profound manner towards mutual understanding. And I think based on both of our countries' national objectives, we have worked and closely with each other. And in recent past, I think in the last 10 years and a little more, this relationship has now actually developed into an economic partnership through which we are actually leveraging our natural endowment and also working on several other initiatives, including the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. And I think from where it all started in early 50s to where we are now, and how the future, the promising future that is ahead of us, I think the relationship is going to grow strength by strength, and I think there will be new avenues which will be explored, especially in the science and technology, agriculture and the mining and several other areas where both these countries have the great advantage, not just in terms of geography, also in human resource and the mineral resources that we both have.
Now, we have also seen in a major development, Pakistan's Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb and Power Minister Awais Laghari met with the Chinese Finance Minister, talked about the cooperation on economic front, including boosting financial and banking cooperation. When we talk about the Panda bonds, what are these Panda bonds and what is the significance, and how Pakistan's economy can benefit from it?
Yeah, I think I've always been speaking, and I've been a great proponent of the fact that leadership from both sides, and not just the political leadership, the business leadership, the military leadership, and common leadership in academia, between the two countries need to interact. And therefore, we were able to establish the Consortium of Business School back in 2017, through which the academia leadership of business schools of both countries could interact. So, in terms of interaction between the leaders, and if you follow the media recently, and most of the discussion has been around the IPPs and also on debt relief, I think this visit is more than that. This visit is about the CPEC Phase 2 and also the financial aspect of CPEC Phase 2. For those of your audience who do not understand the targets that were set for CPEC, I think the first phase was time of consolidation, and those were 10 years in which we were supposed to build infrastructure, energy, and also optical fiber, and therefore then as a stepping stone move towards building of industrial zone, and the last stage work on regional connectivity through ML1. So while we were able to get good projects in investments, especially in the energy and infrastructure projects, the special economic zone and the financial aspect of the CPEC could not be leveraged because of various reasons, including the COVID-19 and some of the geopolitics that is happening, where the Russia-Ukraine war and others. So now there are several, and I'm sorry for the longish answer, but let me just elaborate on how this scheme of things are happening. So now when we are exploring options to enter BRICS, which is more of an economic platform where countries are exploring new ideas and concepts, including currency swap agreements. This is a time when the financial agreement have to work and new ideas have to work. For example, when we work on SCDs, there was a discussion at one given time where Gwadar was considered as a place, the free trade zone in Gwadar was considered as a center of excellence where new financial concepts and ideas could be explored and currency swap agreements could be done. And Pakistan has already done that with China. I think now what Pakistan is looking at is a Panda bond, which is a Chinese RMB dominated bond. It is for usually from non-Chinese issuers and sold in China. And so when a country issues these bonds and it's explored as an option to leverage our relationship with China, I think this is a great step which has been, I think it's actually delayed by several years, and now that the government is taking this initiative, this is perhaps the right time. We need to, but for this, I think right kind of narrative, right kind of interaction has to build, and I think this visit is very useful. Now coming over to the energy part of the visit, because the energy minister is also traveling to China and is there. And all of us need to understand that this is a sequel of visits. It started from JCC, the Joint Cooperation Committee meeting, then the visit of the Prime Minister, followed by a visit of the Minister for Planning, and now this visit. So this sequel of visit is being made, and if you remember yesterday, the Prime Minister also hosted a meeting where he spoke about all the Chinese projects and how CPEC Phase 2 would be implemented. I think this visit will help not just in terms of the Panda bond, which is an out-of-box solution to some of the economic challenges that we have, but also to consolidate on the finance side.
So there is also the presentation that has been given by the Minister of Board of Investment, Abdul Aleem Khan, to the Chinese ambassador regarding the transfer of industries from China to Pakistan. There was an earlier detailed roadmap that was presented to the Prime Minister also regarding that. Now, this particular transfer of industry from China to Pakistan vis-a-vis CPEC Phase 2, what's the importance and how that could be done to get the maximum dividend out of it?
And it's a fantastic question. Actually, when in 2016 we were working on the industrial cooperation phase of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, these 9 special economic zones which are in respective province were actually materialized or perhaps discussed with a view that joint ventures between Chinese and Pakistani industries would take place, and the investment coming to Pakistan and through joint ventures or otherwise from China would benefit from our geography, would benefit of our relationship with some of the countries where China can export in Middle East, in Europe, also benefit on the natural resources that we have and the cheap labor that we have. And of course, we wanted to work on the productivity of our labor.
Right. Your point is well taken. Joining us on the phone line, Dr. Hassan Daud, former project director and coordinator of CPEC projects. Thank you very much for your time. Mr. Awan, now this economic relationship, Pakistan and China, and then transformation of that particular relationship in CPEC, and then now we are heading towards the CPEC phase 2. What have been the major successes as far as the first phase of the CPEC is concerned, primarily focusing on infrastructure and energy?
The first phase was focused on mostly infrastructure development, power sector, and optical fiber links. If you go back to a few years back, we still remember how many hours we were having the load shedding in Pakistan, especially in the capital cities, up to 15 hours, 16 hours sometimes. And at least with the result of, as a result of the CPEC power project's completion, we have almost overcome the load shedding issue. I mean, this is a great achievement for Pakistan. In the infrastructure aspect, we have completed thousands of kilometers of the motorways and network of roads and highways. That is very important for the development of a country, for economic activities and transportation of goods and transportation and passengers. Infrastructure, the road network is very important. Optical fiber linkage has given a lot of benefit in terms of the enhancement of the IT industry. The complete downstream IT industry is the beneficiary of the optical fiber linkage with China. Previously, we were having only one linkage with the Europe through the seabed, and sometime if there is any problem in the seabed, it is very difficult to repair, and we are just cut off from the rest of the world for long time, for many days sometime. But with this option, with the optical fiber linkage with China, we have reinforced our internet connectivity, enhanced our internet connectivity, and improved the broadband and speed. It has helped the complete IT industry in Pakistan.
Right. Dr. Naveed, when you talk about the overall trajectory of the bilateral relationship on the economic front in terms of bilateral trade volume, those key sectors between Pakistan and China where the imports and exports between each other had been going on, how this particular relationship evolved over time, and that later on led into China-Pakistan economic corridor, and now we are heading towards the CPEC phase 2.
I think the voice of significance that is being added by Dr. Hassan, this relationship is turning towards economic development. I think this the phase we are starting now, I think it's a different phase. Definitely the phase 1 success stories are there. Now we want to see how the localization aspect that is directly associated. We need to add definitely a contribution that is more towards the economic inclusion, how we have to engage the local leadership, I would say. Success story that's directly associated with the engagement. I think this phase is very, very important, where we have to convert this association, this long-term economic journey with the Chinese economy. It's going to strengthen you. So what my apprehension towards this economic development, I think it's the first time in the history of the country that we are accessing the financial capital markets of another country. It's first time happening. I think it's a financial innovation that we have added. The Panda bonds, I think it could be the first step. Definitely we have to capitalize a foreign market. Pakistani bond market could, on the one side, we could learn the lesson from the capital markets. Last time we also have a wise capital market of Pakistan is still untapped, largely a potential that is being untapped. We have to bring a capitalization, more number of participants for the capital markets. And comparatively, stock exchange is doing good, definitely. In terms of the volume, we cross the volume of 80,000 points. But on the other side, the bond market of Pakistan, still I would say it's very infant. So lesson learned, we have to learn from the Chinese economy. They are not just going toward the instrumentation of their financial securities, they are far ahead. They are now converting this financial drive that is more towards the the risk which is associated with the sustainability as well. Today's stats we have Pakistan that is being the potentially most vulnerable country in terms of the potential risk of the climate. So now this financial innovation, this financial capitalization is going to be engaged with the green bonds. We have to think towards a climate finance, and end of the day, this is a buzzword. I was engaged by Scotland. I was one of the voice on a global platform on the financial sustainability. The entire world integrating its financial system, its economic system with the green financing. I think it's an opportunity. If I move ahead, financially speaking, financial securitization is one of the area. During the COVID time, the countries, what the lesson they have learned, they extensively employed a contracts at the level of the State Bank. State Bank have a financial securitizations, they have the hedging, they have the derivations with the different economies. So unfortunately, a derivative market, it's one of the area we are not offering indirect securities for the risk management. So derivation could be there, financial securitization, we always think about securitization in a physical form, only for the better understanding of the audience. Financial securitization is a new concept. 3 economies, top of the list Brazil, they have the same situation, economic recovery they have faced. They have optimum utilization of the financial innovations and they capitalize their markets through financial securitization. If I foresee what is the potential revenue of the government after 1 year, that is a taxation. But I want to buy the 1 year today. I have to issue financial securities today, whether these securities that is being offshore, we have the status as an offshore country and we are going to access the capital markets of the Chinese economy, which is more stable. So what I can do, I can structure these financial securities in a way, after 1 year it would have a maturity. We have this financial dividend, we can use a capitalization, and definitely Pakistan rupee is very positive today. We have a stability. I was looking into very closely the voice of Fitch and Moody's, they are speaking high. Pakistan is on the roadmap of the economic recovery, but the problem is your political instability. I think this is something out of, I would say, the context. When the Pakistan is, it was a time when the Pakistan was internationally have the, it could be a sovereign, I would say, disaster on the part of Pakistan. It could be a bankruptcy, sovereign bankruptcy. Pakistan saved that bankruptcy. Now the Pakistan is going towards the recovery, stability is taking place. I think now we have to speak one language. It's a time today. I was being engaged by international media, by UK Today. I have the same voice. Please, Pakistan is doing good. Pakistan by design. Pakistan is on the right track. Now it's a time to support your government, appreciate the initiative. Definitely critical I would be there, but you have to be constructive. So I am confident. Right. So this is one of the, I would say, the path-breaking day in the history of the country. Having access to the global markets and going to bring a capitalization, it's a first stroke. Definitely, it's going to be engaged with the integration of sustainability, as I said before, and we have to learn towards the financial innovation in my financial system.
Right. Mr. Awan, the wisdom or the vision behind the Panda bonds, how big a respite it is going to give Pakistan on economic front?
As a matter of fact, China is the only country which has huge reserve of foreign exchange. They have plenty of extra money. They need place to invest. And China is investing all over the world. And Pakistan, being the closest friend of China, I think we deserve to avail this opportunity and float this bond and attract the Chinese investment and Chinese finances. And Pakistan is currently facing huge pressure on financial situation in Pakistan. We are dealing with the IMF and we are having the inflation, interest rates, and all the issues. So I think that the Panda bond will at least give relief to Pakistan for the time being, at least.
So you already mentioned, you earlier take the successes in the CPEC phase 1 regarding infrastructure, also optical fibers, as well as on the energy front. When we talk about those successes, how big a stepping stone those could be for the CPEC phase 2 when it comes specifically to the transfer of technology or industry from China to Pakistan?
As a matter of fact, for industrialization, if we look at the history of the global developed countries, they have made this big progress, economic progress through industrialization. The best example is Germany, UK, France, and all the Western countries. They have invested in industry, and through industrialization, they have developed. Pakistan should learn the experience of these countries. The latest example is of China. China has industrialized and developed its economy. So we should not wait further, and we go for the industrialization. Fortunately and luckily, China is our closest friend, and in China the situation has changed now. China started its industrialization with the industry which need the human resources or the labor intensive industry. But with the passage of time, China has developed to a next stage where it is going to the value addition and high tech. Now the China is not cheaper labor anymore, and cannot afford the labor intensive industry within China. So the China once moved to the high tech and wanted to get rid of the labor intensive industry
within China.
Within the China.
Okay.
So they want to move this industry to other countries.
Right.
Of course, for the Chinese, there are many options. They have shifted some of its industry to Vietnam, some to Africa, some other countries. Pakistan should avail this opportunity and attract the Chinese industrialists to move to Pakistan. This is the natural
so
trend.
Impact on job creation or the employment opportunities
definitely,
once
definitely.
with the transfer of that industry here in Pakistan?
Definitely. Industrialization will have many benefits immediately, visible benefits. First of all, employment. One industry usually have at least 5,000 employees. So if you can imagine if 1,000 industries are shifted to Pakistan, how much people will get the job. And in Pakistan, our family structure is that if one man is get the job, his whole family of 5 or 6 people are dependent on him. So it will be having a huge impact on our social life and economy. Secondly, by industrialization, we can produce some of the products which are import substitute. So we don't need to import some of the products and produce locally. It means we relieve our pressure on our foreign exchange reserves. Secondly, if we produce something extra than domestic demand, we can export. Export means earning dollars, which we need badly. I mean, industrialization is a solution to many, many things. Furthermore, industrialization also makes you self-sustain. I mean, once industry is moved here, people have the job, you develop the products, you produce many things. So you are not dependent on import of on any other country. These are the benefits. Furthermore, through industrialization, we develop our technology and skills which can be used in national interest like national security, national defense, many other areas which we are still dependent on the other countries. And also, once the people have the job, the political stability will come. The crime rate will drop down. Everybody will be engaged and having the job and busy with his job. He has no time to think negatively or involved in the...
Right. Dr. Naveed, what key areas do you identify in which the transfer of industry from China to Pakistan can be done in the immediate terms?
I think, as I said earlier, it's the different stage now. Now, we have to see by design how the conversion is taking place. Definitely, the phase 1 is a success story. The phase 2, I think opportunities always comes against capacity. We need to identify 6-7 areas where we need to develop our capacity. Top of the list, government already have the eye. We have to have the adaptation of the technology and innovation at the grassroots level. We need to develop IT experts, definitely. This is the futuristic eye, I would say. Second, certain areas I would say still the potential is largely untapped. Blue economy, it is the new word, I would say, for every second economic user. What is a blue economy? I think the potential is there. We have to capitalize the potential of those areas that we can develop. Blue economy need to be capitalized. We have to invest more towards the hospitality. We have to invest more towards the tourism. I think some restructuring which is associated with the governance as well. Public-private partnership where we need to shift some social justice as well. Definitely corporations are there. They are bringing their economic and investment eye. They want to see returns. That is a financially motivation eye. We have some representation on the corporate boards. where we need to have some philanthropy should be sitting there, some social eye should be there. So at least we can have some development that is coming towards a corporate sector. They are more responsive towards the environment. They are more responsive towards a development agenda of the government as well. And one more point. Today I got the opportunity, I was looking into, as one of the panelists, the grand bargain. A grand bargain, this is one of the biggest development that we have in the international NGOs. I think over the period of time, it's a huge amount of the international NGOs, they said bye-bye to Pakistan. The reason behind is most of the NGOs in Pakistan, they are not well compliant with the C4C. C4C is basically a charter for the change. I think 8 points agenda, I was looking into very closely the agenda that is being set by the International Summit of the NGOs. It is the same agenda that is the agenda of the government of Pakistan. We have the same voice to STPI, we have same voice to the different the donor agencies as well. Your interest and the interest of the government, it's very closely aligned, but you need to align strategically. If on the one side NGOs, they are coming in the mainstream, they could be the strength of the government. On the other side, you need to find out. The phase 1 is a success story. The phase 2, we have to bring what my co-panelist has said. Definitely, it's the opportunity time. You have to bring towards the localization of your recruitment. You have to think about the purchasing parity of the people. And end of the day, we have to bring economic, social, financial index that has to be improved. And end of the day, it's going to capitalize towards the socio-economic development of the country.
Right. So, what sense do you make of this particular thing that there was a detailed briefing given to Chinese ambassador to Pakistan regarding the establishment of industries from China to Pakistan regarding under the matchmaking industry? So,
Yeah.
details regarding that were presented to the Chinese ambassador. What does this particular thing signify, matchmaking industry?
I think clap with the 5 fingers. Don't clap with the 1 finger. It might be possible. We have infrastructure is there, but we are lacking the capacity in terms of the technology. So we need to match. It's a matching grants on the form of the research. It's definitely B2B. It's definitely technology to technology. You have to match your interests. The landscape that is being matched. Definitely, what I can offer you a skill set. What I'm lacking a financial eye. So you can contribute. So this JV, it's more towards the joint venture that is on the basis of a matching principle.
Right, Mr. Awan.
Let me also add something to this question. Many people in Pakistan, the intellectuals, are talking about the shifting of Chinese industry to Pakistan. They want to focus on the IT, artificial intelligence, and maybe space technology and very high-tech things. But what I have seen in China, because I lived in China during the period when the China introduced the reforms and how they have started their journey of development since 1980s. I am the eyewitness to these things. China started with the very simple things, and I think that is the easiest way to start. I will suggest our policy makers to compile the data of importers and what they are importing from China. They are mostly the daily consumer products or day-to-day use items. So we should ask these importers to convince the Chinese manufacturer to set up these manufacturing facility in Pakistan. So these products which we are getting from importing from China, there is a market available here. So there is no issue of selling out. The market exists already, and they have the contact how to sell it. But just convince the Chinese manufacturer to set up a plant in Pakistan and manufacture the same thing what they are manufacturing in China. When they manufacture in Pakistan, so first of all, they will use the Pakistani human resource, workforce. They will use the Pakistani raw material. There will be no import duty. There will be no transportation cost from China to Pakistan. So the product cost will be cut down and their profit will be increased. So Pakistan welcome these Chinese investors which already have the market in Pakistan.
No,
we start from the simple things, very simple things.
Just quick point, I think it's a shift towards localization. This is what we need.
Yes.
Shift
And-
was localized. Please go ahead.
And
Complete your thought,
then
please.
of course once we have a better and wider broad base of industry, we can go to the high tech and advanced technologies and we can move forward. There is no harm.
Okay, Dr. Naveed, there were 7 major sectors in this particular matchmaking industry. They were identified that include the medical equipment, plastic industry, textile, leather, edible meat, fruit and vegetables and waste. So by looking at these sectors in particular, what are your suggestions? Where do you see that interest aligning between Pakistan and China, specifically to these sectors?
I think especially all these manufacturing concerns, they are the strong areas over the period of time. Having some political uncertainty, having some insecurity, I think we are lacking the dividend. It's a right opportunity. We have to concentrate every area, starting from the textile, we are speaking about the chemicals. I think we can now, it's the right time, live locally and we can act globally. This is the right opportunity. Having the expert eye of the Chinese are coming as your partner. They are coming with the infrastructure that is more technology driven. They have the success story that has been across the world. I think matching areas, they are economic driven. They could be the future for Pakistan as well.
Right, Mr. Awan, agriculture. The cooperation between Pakistan and China as far as the advancement in agriculture is concerned, Pakistan's desire of enhancing the exports, or first of all enhancing the agricultural productivity and later on enhancing the agricultural exports. What key factors should be learned from the Chinese experience?
When I traveled to China in 1980s, there was shortage of food. I mean, China being an agriculture country, there was shortage of food. But how they have introduced the reforms and overcome these problems, and now they are the net exporter of the agricultural products. For Pakistan, there is a huge space for learning from the Chinese experience. Pakistan agriculture contributes almost 60% of the GDP in the workforce, in the economy, in the export, everywhere. Agriculture is dominating. So any improvement in agriculture will have a huge impact. 60% population of Pakistan will be come up from the poverty line. I mean, if agriculture is improved. I think that we start from the basics, from the agriculture. I was posted to China, Pakistan Embassy, Beijing, from 2010 till 2016 as a science counselor. My responsibility was to promote the cooperation between China and Pakistan in higher education and science and technology. Half of the science and technology cooperation was in the agriculture. I was responsible and I facilitated the transfer of many agriculture technologies like the hybrid rice, hybrid wheat, some hybrid seed qualities, cotton varieties, and some research on the seeds, on drought resistance and disease resistance varieties, introduction of the new varieties, and even that the post-harvest care of the agriculture products. Currently, China is helping Pakistan a lot in agriculture, especially in some of the business-oriented technologies. For example, Pakistan was never exporting chilies to China. What happened? Some of the Chinese companies came to Pakistan and they have seen the Pakistani chilies and they brought the Chinese species, Chinese seeds, Chinese samples, and they grow in Pakistan and they harvest the good quality of chilies and re-export to China. At least $500 million they have earned from the chilies only. Sesame seeds China are importing. It was not traditional export of Pakistan. In same way, we have improved or enhanced our export of mango to China. Initially, Pakistan was exporting to many countries, but China has a restriction that you need to hot water treatment of the mango, then you can export. Otherwise, there are some flies or some germs or some insects on the mango which can be dangerous for their country. So Chinese has helped Pakistan to establish labs where they treat the mango before exporting. Chinese are helping us making the export quality packaging of the fruits. Not only mangoes, many other fruits were exporting and making the packaging according to the international standards for the export quality. Chinese has helped us to establish, help us to make us export our beef, of meat, because that has special requirements, and we have not that technology. China is giving these technologies. On agriculture, we are very happy that China is helping Pakistan and improving our export.
Right. For now, we are honored to have been joined by another participant on Skype, Dr. Hassan Najib, his former advisor, Minister of Finance. Dr. Najib, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. There was a briefing given to Chinese ambassador by the Minister of the Board of Investment, Abdul Khan, regarding the transfer of Chinese industry here in Pakistan. Identification of 7 major sectors is also being done, including the medical equipment, plastic industry, textile, leather, edible meat, fruit and vegetable and waste. Now, how crucial this particular transfer of industry from China to Pakistan as far as the CPEC Phase 2 is concerned?
Jawad, of course, this is very critical for Pakistan because Pakistan's energy is in surplus. Pakistan has set up 9 special economic zones. Pakistan has set up special technology zone. All this was done. 43,000 megawatt of power was installed in Pakistan so that Pakistan could use this power for industrialization, not for selling to domestic or commercial or, the shadi halls in Pakistan. So for us, it is crucial that our export to GDP, which over the years has fallen from 13% somewhere in 2008-9 to only 9% today. And that's an uncomfortable situation. People think that in Pakistan, imports is the key issue. Actually, if you look at the figures in Pakistan, it's our export to GDP which is causing the bigger issue because that has declined to a level which is uncomfortable and keeps getting us into a current account issue as soon as GDP growth picks up in the country. So CPEC Phase 2 or transfer of technology to Pakistan to set up new technology besides, textile in Pakistan, which itself has fallen to $16.5 billion this year in terms of exports. If we just look at last year, this was $19 billion. The total capacity to export from Pakistan today stands at around $25 billion. So from 16.5 to 25, we have to set up not only export houses, we have to set up our cost of doing business right, we have to get our ease of doing business right, as well as we have to close the gap that we have in terms of international sales. These are the 3 important items. And fourth, of course, I really hope that, Monetary Policy Committee meeting is coming up. Pakistan would be able to move into a monetary easing phase as we move into lower inflation in the country. But if there is industry still which can move from China to Pakistan, export-led industry which can export from Pakistan, which can do transfer of technology, which can use Pakistan cotton, which can use the raw material that is there, or import whatever is needed and then add value to it. Of course, besides textile, all the other areas that you've mentioned, then our agriculture produce, adding value to the agriculture produce as well. All these things are extremely important.
Dr. Hassan Najib, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Now, Dr. Naveed, what about agricultural cooperation between Pakistan and China? What is there for Pakistan to learn from the Chinese experience? Is it the introduction of the better techniques, the better input of the better technology, or is it going towards the better seeds? What's the most important area that Pakistan needs to focus at this point in time?
I think the point of time that we have, it's the right time where we have to work on our branding. Quality of your fertility is there. Definitely, Pakistan can take the advantage of so many the commodities. Only lack of technology, lack of the branding, lack of the, I would say, the packing. This is what we said. I think it's the right time. Economic stability would be associated in Pakistan. We need to develop its own profiling. And if this profiling is going to link you with the standardization, definitely the time would come where we have to come up towards the agriculture products that is coming with the accreditations. If we have the accreditation of these products and we are going to certify all these international standards, where we can definitely capitalize and we are going to bring the global town. So this is the interest point for Pakistan to knock to the global town, where we have to take the opportunity and to develop your own branding and your own profiling.
Right, Mr. Awan, now you already described in detail as to what exactly Pakistan has been benefiting from the experience in agriculture sector from China. It is the bringing of new quality seeds, the better introduction of technology. Now, in order to enhance the exports, where those avenues lie for Pakistan in order to export that agricultural productivity?
I will focus only on China. China is the largest exporter of products, at the same time the largest importer of many things. So Pakistan should avail this opportunity and export maximum items to China. China is a huge market, is 1.4 billion population. So China is helping us to improve, to set up our standards and help us in exporting to China. In some of the ways, China has relaxed its rules and regulation for Pakistan especially to improve the Pakistani export. One thing I would like to talk about our minister's visit to China. Finance minister is there for rescheduling. The Chinese government knows the Pakistan's issues and the problems. In the past, China has always helped Pakistan. For 7 decades, at any difficult moment, China has always stood with Pakistan. And today, Pakistan is also facing difficulties, and I believe the Chinese understand it and they will not disappoint our minister.
Right. So when we talk about, Dr. Naveed, about the avenues where Pakistan can export that agricultural produce, where do you identify that?
I think
Is it only going to be China, as already talked about by Mr. Awan?
I think when I see the scope of the Special Investment Facilitation Council, that is very broad. Phase 1 is a success story. We have to definitely look into the neighboring alliance as well. Saudi Arabia, I speak high definitely. They are being always the lender of your last resort. They help out you. China definitely. We have a social, we have the partnership economic corridors with the China, but we need to find out definitely your Gulf alliance. This could be another your avenue that largely we can capitalize.
Professor Dr. Mohammed Naveed, former Dean Barrier University and global financial expert, thank you very much for being with us on the show. Your closing comment.
Just one more, I have not said that only China is our export destination. I just focus on China.
Agricultural
No, I just focus on China, but the whole world is our focus, should be our focus.
So where do you identify other than China? Where it could
Africa, Latin America, Russia.
Mrs. Zamir Awan, expert on China affairs, research focused on China and CPEC and economic development. Thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.